Timothy McGhee, one of the most feared killers in Los Angeles. Police say he's tied to at least 12 murders, one of them being Rolling 60s leader Big U Brother, a member of Toonerville Rifa 13, also called the Ville. He wasn't your typical gangbanger, he was closer to a serial killer. McGhee didn't kill for respect, revenge, or survival. He did it for the thrill. Born and raised in the streets of LA, he didn't see death as a consequence. He saw it as a rush. Every life he took fueled him, and that obsession would eventually land him on death row.
I just won't go to another million. Finally made my way out of the trenches.
Alright, so to understand how McGhee became this, we gotta go back. Timothy McGhee was born April 27, 1973. His pops was white, his mom was a Mexican-American. They lived in Atwater Village, a small neighborhood in northeast LA with like 13,000 people. Now, if you grew up in LA during the 80s and 90s, you know what that was like. Crack epidemic, gangs everywhere, shootings every week. That's all McGhee ever saw growing up. Drug dealers on the corner, crackheads stumbling down the block, bodies dropping left and right. That was normal to him. And by the time he was 16, he was already showing signs of how dark he really was. And check this out, in 1989, McGhee's locked up in juvenile detention. Somehow, and I still don't know how, he gets his hands on a shotgun and he points it at a guard. He didn't shoot, but just the fact that he did that at 16 years old, that told you everything you needed to know about where this was hidden. Fast forward to 1994, McGhee gets into it with a cop in San Bernardino, and a judge he wasn't playing at all. 4 years in prison for assaulting an officer, but those 4 years, that didn't change him. If anything, it just made him worse. So, 1997 rolls around. McGhee is 24 now. He just got out after doing 4 years. You would think maybe he learned his lesson, right? Maybe he'll come out different. Nah, he came out on straight demon time. McGhee was already deep in Toonerville Rifa 13. That was his gang. And if you don't know the layout of Atwater Village, let me break it down real quick. Toonerville held down a small piece of the neighborhood, but they were surrounded by enemies. Tiny Rascals was below them, Frogtown was south, Cypress Park across the river, the avenues up north. Literally every direction you looked, ops. Living there was like being trapped in a war zone. You couldn't walk 2 blocks without potentially running into someone who wanted you dead. And just a couple months after getting out, McGhee spotted 2 dudes from Tiny Rascals in his hood. He didn't hesitate. Shots rang out and full-on chase through the streets. Juan Cardiel got hit in his back, left him paralyzed. Pedro Sanchez tried to hide in a gas station, thought the glass doors would protect him. They didn't. McGhee fired right through the glass and hit him too. Both of them survived. Both of them said McGhee was the shooter, but police, they didn't have enough evidence, so McGhee walked, and that just made him even bolder. Alright, so McGhee's reputation is growing. He's becoming a big name in Toonerville, but that wasn't enough for him. In 1997, while he's on parole, he catches Ronnie Martin from Frogtown slipping. McGhee opens fire, 28 bullets. Ronnie Martin was dead on arrival. That was McGhee's first confirmed kill, and it was just the beginning of one of the deadliest sprees in LA history. After serving another year for a parole violation, McGhee gets out in 1999, and 7 months later, he's connected to one of the wildest shootings in hip-hop history. So it's around 11 p.m. at Echo Sounds recording studio in Atwater Village. Kurupt's there, Daz Dillinger, and Dwayne Draws Dupree. That's Big U's brother. He was Kurupt's bodyguard. They're all standing around outside after finishing a session, and out of nowhere, McGhee and another shooter roll up and just start blasting. Everyone scrambles, some of them make it inside the studio and barricade the door with a vending machine. But Big U's brother, he didn't make it. He was shot and killed right in front of the door. A few others got hit in the leg, but they survived. Now, this caused a lot of controversy. A lot of people feel like the others left Big U's brother for dead.
And I'm going to say this. I don't put his murder on McGhee. I put his murder on the punk motherfuckers who lock little draws outside. On the people who push that vending machine in front of that door.
Oh.
So if y'all gonna talk about it, talk about it.
But this dude rode by on the motorcycle and let them have it. Shot them all up with an AK-47. I remember the realist got shot, big draws. He died from his gunshot wounds. Keita Rock and Big C Style was inside. And I think Big C Style told it on our show when he did an interview and he talked about it, how they pushed the soda machine down. And he said soda pop cans was popping and splashing all over them. And that's where the controversy comes in, because Lil Draws was shot at the door of trying to get into the studio.
And at the time, there were all kinds of rumors flying around. Was it connected to DMX? Was it East Coast versus West Coast beef? This was 1999, just a few years after Tupac and Biggie got killed. LA streets was on edge.
Draws was the bodyguard for Kurupt at the time, and he was shot and killed in 1999 outside a music studio in LA.
They tried to blame DMX.
Echo Park, you're right. It happened outside Echo Sound's music studio in Atwater Village.
Yeah, they tried to blame DMX.
DMX?
Yeah, they tried to blame DMX back then. Yeah, because they say the shooters allegedly, their first story was they came through on the bikes, so they was thinking some Rough Rider stuff, but
nobody ever caught McGhee, and nobody really knew why he ever did it. Was it territory? Was it race? Or was it just pure aggression? Whatever the reason, it just showed that McGhee didn't care about rules, respect, or consequences. He was moving off pure violence. June comes around, McGhee kills a 16-year-old from Tiny Rascals. Why? Just because the kid had the same nickname as him, Hero. That's it. Same nickname, you're dead. Then in July, McGhee tries to help 3 of his homies escape after they robbed someone. It turns into a high-speed chase with LAPD. McGhee's tracking the whole thing with a police scanner. At one point, him and a friend throw a washing machine into the street and start shooting at the cops. Nobody gets hit, but all 3 of his homies get arrested, and they all get 2 life sentences for attempted murder of law enforcement. All of that over a stolen wallet. But McGhee, he keeps going. He kills a 17-year-old high school student who was tagging in his neighborhood. Then he kills a homeless man who witnessed it. He wasn't sparing anybody. Eventually, McGhee goes back to prison for another violation, something drug-related. Police kept catching him for the wrong stuff, but he just couldn't stay out of trouble. He gets out in May 2001. By June, he's suspected 9 shootings. 6 of them were fatal. Then in July, he spots 21-year-old Carlos Velasco working at a furniture warehouse in Atwater Village. McGhee didn't know who he was, so he told his little homies to kill him just for not being a familiar face. That's how ruthless he was. Fast forward to November 8th, 2001. McGhee's about to make the mistake that would end everything. He's out cruising with this homie Limpy. They're hunting for rivals because one of their friends had just been shot and killed earlier that day. They strapped with Glocks, ARs looking for ops, and they spot Dwayne Natividad, a rival, driving his Mitsubishi Montero. McGhee follows him all the way to his house. Inside the car with Dwayne is Marjorie Mendoza. She's 25 years old, the mother of his child, and in the backseat is her friend, 16-year-old Erica Reed. As soon as Dwayne parks, McGhee and Limpy jump out and open fire. Bullets tear through the car. Dwayne ducks. He gets hit in the hand. Erica scrambling in the back seat. Somehow she doesn't get hit. Adrenaline pumping, Dwayne throws the car in reverse and speds off. He's rushing Marjorie to the hospital, but it's too late. She been shot multiple times. She was pronounced dead. This murder, it was one of the most shocking moments in McGhee's entire spree, and it showed just how far he was willing to go, even if innocent people got caught in the crossfire. After Majority's murder, things start falling apart fast. Limpy gets arrested, McGhee's still free, but not for long. By November 27th, homicide detectives have enough evidence. They put out a warrant for McGhee's arrest, but McGhee made a big mistake after the shooting. He dropped his girlfriend's phone at the scene. Now he's panicking, feeling the pressure, feeling like the walls are closing in, so he makes one last desperate move. He calls a close friend, Christina Duran. That's the same person he called right after the shooting, and he asks her for a favor. Go back to the scene and pick up the phone before the police find it. Christina tries, but police get there first. When detectives interrogate her, she's shaking, scared out of her mind, and eventually she cracks. She tells them McGhee was behind Majority Mendoza's murder. That decision would cost her everything. On her 29th birthday, when she should have been celebrating, Christina Duran was found dead, shot 5 times in the head, execution style. McGhee couldn't stand two things: snitches and police. He even rapped about it in his music. One of his lyrics said, "Witness protection won't work. Realize your rat ain't gonna make it to the stand." By August 2002, the LAPD had enough. They launched one of the largest task forces in Los Angeles history. More than 60 local and federal investigators, all focused on finding Timothy McGhee. Detectives had linked him to multiple murders. They had enough evidence to charge him for Majority Mendoza's death. Desperate to catch him, LAPD offered a $55,000 reward for information on his location. Nobody came forward, and after everything he's done, people wasn't willing to take that risk. McGhee was officially on the run. He fled the city, bouncing between Atwater, Arizona, and Las Vegas, never staying in one place for more than a week. And somehow, he was still running Toonerville from out of state. It was risky. His face was everywhere. News, newspapers, America Most Wanted. He even got added to U.S. Marshals 15 Most Wanted Fugitives list. But in early 2003, everything started falling apart. In Buckhead City, Arizona, a man recognized McGhee from a newspaper photo. He called the police right away. Investigators took the tip seriously after finding out McGhee's dad owned a local business there. On February 11, 2003, officers started staking out a house where they believed McGhee was hiding. For almost 20 hours, they watched him, gathering a search warrant, preparing for a SWAT raid. Then, on the morning of February 12th, a U.S. Marshal spotted McGhee leaving the house. Within minutes, more than 25 officers from LAPD, Buckhead City PD, and federal agencies surrounded him. They ordered him out of the car. McGhee surrendered without a fight. On February 13, 2003, McGhee was brought to Mojave County Courthouse in Arizona. They were getting ready to send him back to LA. When he got back, he was placed in LA County Jail, one of the toughest jails in the country. And from the moment he stepped on the yard, his reputation followed him. McGhee quickly became a top dog inside. He had a major influence with the Mexican mafia. Because of everything he done on the streets, people respected him and they feared him. It was said that he called the shots. If he told someone when to blink, breathe, or move, they did it. He carried that power for years. On September 27, 2007, 4.5 years after his capture, Timothy McGhee finally went on trial. He faced charges for the murders of Ronnie Martin, Ryan Gonzalez, and Majority Mendoza, plus attempted murders of 6 others that included 2 LAPD officers, Dwayne Natividad, Erica Reed, Pedro Sanchez, and Juan Cordial. Originally, prosecutors hit McGhee with 9 murder charges, but before the trial even started, they dropped 6 of them. They said the witnesses were too unreliable. In October 2007, McGhee was found guilty on most counts.
Notorious LA gang leader described by police as a thrill killer is headed for death row at San Quentin.
You are sentenced to death.
Except for Pedro Sanchez and Juan Cardiel shootings. Both men had originally identified McGhee as the shooter, but when they got on the stand, they said they didn't remember. McGhee was sentenced to death, plus an extra 75 years for a violent riot with guards back in 2005. It looked like the story was over, but recently, April 3rd, 2025, McGhee caught a huge break. His murder conviction and death sentence were overturned. An appeal court ruled that something went wrong during his trial. Turns out one of the jurors had been dismissed for asking a question. Why are witnesses only taking the stand now? The original judge thought that question meant the juror didn't trust the police. Maybe even believed the case was a setup. Because of that, an appeals court decided McGhee didn't get a fair trial. Now his case is wide open again. After all these years, it looked like Timothy McGhee's story was over, but no, he still got the young highness on him. But now everything's back on the table. His death sentence is gone and justice hangs in the balance. So the real question is, drop a comment. Do you think McGhee deserves a retrial, or should they have left that verdict alone? Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss part 2 when this story takes its next wild turn. I'm gone.
I just won't go to another meal, yeah.